Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Pittsburgh Steelers could lose big-bodied wide receiver to a reunion with his old team. Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Mike Williams could have a new team soon, but it would be with a familiar group. Williams, who is set to be a free agent after the Steelers traded a fifth-round pick for him to the New York Jets at the trade deadline, is likely to find a new team after the Steelers barely used him. Daniel Popper of The Athletic says Williams could return to Los Angeles and play with the Chargers in a reunion that could make a lot of sense for both sides. They could look for that outside ball winner in the draft. But Williams is one receiver with that exact skill set who would not cost an exorbitant amount. And he has a built-in rapport with quarterback Justin Herbert from their 4 seasons together. I think the Williams reunion makes a ton of sense, if Higgins does not hit free agency or if his price is a non-starter for Harbaugh and Hortiz, Popper wrote. After suffering a torn ACL with the Chargers in 2023, Williams never fully looked like the same player he was before the injury. At the very least, though, Williams was able to make stunning plays on the sideline on jump balls thrown his way. That is his superpower, and if any team wants to acquire him for those skills, he can fill that void. The Steelers acquired him just for that, but they will likely let him walk and go for another veteran on the market, which could leave Williams fit with the Chargers, an important one for his market. For round Steelers mock draft, Pittsburgh finds its future RB1 in Cam Skatebo. Welcome to my first Steelers mock draft of the year. I've got to be honest, I don't love the idea of a mock draft before free agency. Whether it's a stud WR like Chris Godwin, or a star DT like Milton Williams, their off-season moves will obviously significantly impact their selections. However, I enjoy evaluating some of the talent the team's brass will undoubtedly be examining. It'll help both me and hopefully some of our readers learn more about these prospects. I only did 4 rounds here because I'm still familiarizing myself with the projected back end of the class. Without further ado. Round 1, Pick 21, Derek Harmon, DT, Oregon. Harmon is arguably the most disruptive run stopper in the draft and also has the chops to pressure the quarterback. He has violent hands and a consistent motor. The Steelers have generally done a solid job stopping the run throughout the years, but Ravens star RB Derrick Henry exploited them last season. With a chance to win the division on the road, Henry ran for 162 yards on 24 totes, giving the Ravens a leg up in the AFC North, in a 34-17 win over the Black and Gold. And you probably know what happened in the playoffs. Henry stiff-armed Minkah Fitzpatrick into another stratosphere on his way to a 186-yard game and 2 TDs. Harmon faced constant double teams and still registered 5 sacks and 8.5 tackles for loss. Simply put, he's a game-changer. Round 2, Pick 52, Alec Iomanor, WR, Stanford. If and when the Steelers add a receiver will largely depend on how they feel about last year's third-round pick, Roman Wilson. Quite frankly, I have no idea where he fits into their future plans after missing essentially all of 2024. Regardless, they could need another playmaker on the outside, as Wilson and Calvin Austin III will continue to primarily line up in the slot. Iomanor is a polished receiver with veteran-like fluidity in his game. He's a bully at the line of scrimmage and has great instincts, often finding vacancies by simply slowing down the game. We often see receivers playing at 100% speed each snap, but much like quarterbacks, sometimes taking a step back means taking a step forward. Round 3, Pick 83, Dorian Strong, CB, Virginia Tech. Listen, the Steelers have 3 really big needs. Ideally, I'd like to see a corner drafted much earlier, but there are many holes to plug. Strong led all collegiate cornerbacks in both yards allowed per coverage snap, 0.24, and completion rate allowed, 27.3%. He's a lengthy pressman corner with smooth hips and above-average ball skills. He needs to work on calming his approach a bit, as he struggles some on the deep ball because of his tendencies to jump the intermediate routes. All in all, he'd be a steal at this spot. Round 4, pick 122, Cam Skattebo, RB, Arizona State. If you weren't a fan of this mock so far, I wonder if this changed your mind. Skattebo just has Pittsburgh Steelers aura. The Heisman finalist was a superstar at Arizona State. Last year, he ranked second in the NCAA with 1,711 rushing yards and 21 TDs. Clearly, there will be questions surrounding his athleticism. He's a bruiser who will get you 3 or 4 yards in his sleep, and good luck stopping him at the goal line, but is he enough of a change of pace with Jaylen Warren? Or does he have too much Najee Harris to his game, regarding lack of explosiveness? He was born to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, but more so if this were the early 2000s. While he'd be a ton of fun, and I don't doubt he's going to be a good player, I'd prefer speed over power here. But let's have some fun, for now. What are your thoughts on this mock, and who are some of your favorite prospects in the first 4 rounds? Let us know in the comments section. Insider names Giants potential sleeper to sign Steelers quarterback. Going to free agency for help at quarterback is usually frowned upon if it's done at the expense of drafting a QB of the future, but the New York Giants could buck the trend as a potential sleeper to sign Pittsburgh Steelers signal caller Russell Wilson. The Giants' status in any sweepstakes for Super Bowl-winning veteran Wilson was confirmed by ESPN insider Jeremy Fowler during an edition of NFL Live, when he discussed the futures of Wilson and fellow Steelers passer Justin Fields. Fowler acknowledged Wilson has made it clear he wants to be back in Pittsburgh, that's his priority. Yet, Fowler also believes that just like Fields, Wilson will have options as well on the veteran market, and the New York Giants could be a potential sleeper for him. Wilson's name hasn't been far from the Giants in the last year, and he remains a proven commodity with the arm strength and mobility suited to head coach Brian Daboll's offense. He's a good scheme fit, but there are still some doubts about Wilson's ability to lead a rebuild like the one the Giants are undertaking. Russell Wilson remains popular name for Giants. This isn't the first time Fowler has put Wilson on the Giants' radar. It makes sense for the 36-year-old to be a popular name for Big Blue. Wilson's arm talent has endured, particularly when he's attacking coverage vertically and throwing on the run. The Giants were among the teams exploited by both of Wilson's core strengths when the former Seattle Seahawks and Denver Broncos starter threw for 278 yards in Week 8, including a 29-yard touchdown to Calvin Austin III. Throwing deep off-play action became Wilson's niche again, per Doug Farrar of Athlon Sports. Moving pockets and deep shots are how Josh Allen became a Pro Bowler on Daboll's watch when the latter was offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills in 2020. Putting Wilson into the lineup would give Daboll his first legitimate chance to run the kind of offense he wants for the Giants. That's the upside to signing Wilson, but the downside could lead the Giants to another free agent quarterback. Giants can't ignore other free agent QBs. Daboll would welcome Wilson's talent for throwing off-platform, but the Giants wouldn't be able to ignore how much he's struggled protecting the ball. Wilson has thrown 24 interceptions and fumbled 21 times across the last 3 seasons. Although he supplanted Fields in Pittsburgh, Wilson couldn't make plays when it counted last season. He finished the season 0-5 and threw for over 250 yards just once, during a 28-14 defeat to the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs. The Giants don't want to catch Wilson on the downside of his career. Perhaps it'd be better to roll the dice on the core skills of Fields as a bridge quarterback. Fields still lacks refinement as a passer, but that's not a problem for another former Super Bowl champion, Matthew Stafford. The latter can match Wilson throwing off play action and on the move, but the cost of acquiring Stafford may be too high. Wilson wouldn't carry the same price tag, but he's still projected by Spotrac.com to earn $38.7 million annually for 2 years. It's well within the range of a Giants team with $47,114,074 worth of space under the salary cap. they own the third pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, but the Giants aren't completely sold on top prospects Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, according to Paul Schwartz of the New York Post. Any doubts make delving into free agency for an established QB with Wilson's profile, or something similar, a logical alternative. And are you a fan? What do you think of Russell Wilson leaving? Leave your opinion in the comments.